I'm your go-to guy for the best builds in Destiny 2, or at least that's what I like to think, so I feel that it's my job to tell you that mods are getting completely revamped for Lightfall. This isn't really a video that's just going to read through the blog post, it's more of a brief summary of the upcoming changes, followed by my analysis of how this will change build crafting moving forward once we hit Lightfall. Before we start though, yes, I will still make and showcase builds leading up to Lightfall before the systems change. I'll just have to make updated versions that go over new mod setups for those builds after Lightfall. All the more reason for you to subscribe so you don't miss them. Most things will still be the same about builds today as they will be in Lightfall. A lot of the aspects and fragments and ability combos and exotic armor pieces that we use will pretty much remain very similar. Really, the only thing that's going to change by and large is obviously the mod systems and potentially a couple of fragments that we might use on our subclasses that might grant new effects. Now, as far as the changes themselves, loadouts are coming. You can unlock up to 10 loadout slots based on your Guardian ranks. I'm unsure if this is account or Guardian specific, but hopefully the latter. These builds can also be easily shared with the community, which is fantastic news for us. Mod acquisition is being changed to be based off of Guardian ranks. So at rank 6, you automatically unlock every single mod, which according to Bungie should be the rank that most medium to long-term players start at the second that they log in on Lightfall on day 1 and they unlock all of their Guardian rank triumphs or whatever they end up being. And even if you're a newer player or a short-term player, it's still a fantastic system update because you can at least grind towards unlocking the Guardian ranks and unlocking all the mods now, instead of just having to pray that Ada 1 gave you good RNG and sold the mod that you wanted on a particular day. Armor energy types are also being removed, so you don't have to worry about having a solar armor piece for Well of Life anymore, or a stasis armor piece for utility kickstart. You can just put any mod on any armor piece now, which means there's also some new armor mod combinations that we can have, which is really exciting. For example, on your class item, you could maybe have a copy of utility kickstart and a copy of Bomber now, which were previously Stasis and Solar mods respectively, which obviously you couldn't have a Stasis and Solar mod on the same class item because the class item had to be one element. Artifact mods are all passive unlocks now, which doesn't change too much about build crafting for our channel specifically, since I like to make things while ignoring artifact mods because I don't like my builds to have an expiration date, but something good to know. If you unlock anti-barrier pulse rifle, for example, it's just passively applied to your Guardian intrinsically for the rest of the season. You don't have to put a mod on your gloves to get that effect on your pulse rifles, which is really nice. They're also removing match game, which is cool, and they're adding champion stunning capabilities to subclass verbs like suppression and jolt and ignitions, which is also cool. Now, where things get a little more interesting is that Charged with Light and Elemental Well mods are basically being distilled into a new system that revolves around what is called Armor Charge, which I would imagine is replacing the current Charged with Light. While running an Armor Charge mod, you gain access to the new system and also passively gain the effects of Taking Charge, which is currently a mod today, which is getting a stack of this new armor charge anytime you pick up an Orb of Power. Subsequently, many mods that used to create elemental wells or give stacks of Charge with Light will now give Orbs of Power instead, which means elemental wells are dead, which makes me really sad because I loved them, but it's possibly okay because they are being replaced with a new damage type specific object system that spawns different objects that have different effects based on the damage type. For example, there will be certain build crafting elements that can create these objects, and picking them up can grant ability energy, just like elemental wells, or have other effects depending on your build, such as granting restoration. The final notable thing I saw is that Warmind cells are getting full-on removed, which if you told me that a year and a half ago, I would have been sad, but I don't think I've seen a Warmind cell since 2021, so no harm, no foul. So how does this change everything? Obviously, elemental wells basically being dead is going to make a lot of current mod setups kind of irrelevant. I think most of the aspects and fragments and abilities and exotic armor pieces about a lot of the builds that I have on my channel today, and even those builds that I don't have on my channel but that are quite common, I think those are going to remain pretty much the same, and I'm sure the new armor mod systems are going to have plenty of ways that we can get a lot of the effects that elemental wells give us today in Lightfall just the same. So for example, I'm sure that we're going to have a lot of mods that will still allow us to get some form of healing like we did with Well of Life. I'm sure that we're going to have mods that give us plenty of ways to get ability energy like elemental wells did, stuff like Well of Utility, stuff like Well of Ordnance that gave us additional class ability energy, additional grenade energy. I'm sure we're going to have a ton of stuff like that. Obviously, it's impossible to tell because we don't know the specific mods yet, but obviously once we get there, I'm going to do a full breakdown of every single mod, figure out what everything does, figure out what the best combos are, and early on in Lightfall, I'm going to do my best to release a video that kind of goes over what all the new mods are, how all the new systems work, how all the mods work together, if there's any unique interactions. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see that, so you can kind of get like an all-encompassing view of the new mod system right when Lightfall drops. I think loadouts are nice, obviously. I love Destiny Item Manager, but being able to do it directly in game is going to be fantastic. And what I'm most happy about is that they said there's going to be an easy way that you can share these loadouts. I hope it's link based and doesn't have to specifically be in-game based, so that I can put them in the descriptions of my YouTube videos or in the pinned comments so you guys can easily click on them. But no matter what it ends up being, I'm just happy that there's some way that we can share them so that you guys can easily take the builds that I show you in my videos and copy and paste them directly onto your Guardians with minimal effort. I'm curious to see how strong we're going to be in Lightfall. I think a lot of these changes make us a lot stronger. Artifact mods being passive obviously makes us a lot stronger. We don't have to occupy any more mod slots anymore. They also said that they were going to reduce the cost of a lot of existing combat slot mods, which of course makes us stronger because it opens the door for us to ultimately equip more mods and have more combinations. Obviously, armor type affinity being gone further blows open the door for more combinations, and having access to more combinations go in Lightfall than we do today. Surely there's going to be something that pops up that ends up being absurdly broken that's going to continue to make us even stronger. And obviously having champion stunning effects added to our subclass abilities only makes us even more stronger. So this seems like a massive power bump for Guardians. I'm not really in a position to tell you whether or not that's a good or a bad thing. That's for you to decide, but we're definitely going to be getting a lot stronger walking into Lightfall. I'm still going to make build videos before Lightfall, and I'm still going to mention mod setups that are going to include things like elemental well mods and charge with light mods that are inevitably going to be irrelevant in about a month. I think these build videos will still be pretty relevant by and large. Specifically, like I've said, the fragments and the aspects and the exotic armor pieces, and specifically how to use the abilities, what your rotations are, what your combos are. Mods have always been a very, very strong component of builds, but they've never really been the main thing that enables the build to do the core thing that it does. So even though these builds are going to get changed from a mod perspective, I don't really think it's going to ruin any existing build to the point where it doesn't work anymore, or even is significantly less powerful in any capacity. And of course, I'm going to make updated versions of as many build videos as I can as we get into Lightfall. I'm going to try to have a healthy balance of new build videos about Strand and any new builds that pop up with new exotic armor pieces and new fragments and stuff like that, new mods, and going to try to also incorporate a lot of updating of old builds that are currently on the channel. Give you a new Omnioculus mod setup, give you a new Void Titan mod setup, give you a new Arc Hunter mod setup, all that good stuff. The one video I am definitely going to postpone though is the Void Titan playbook, and I'm so sorry. I really wanted to get it out before Lightfall, but the thing about playbooks is that, as we always say, they stand the test of time, and it seems kind of silly to make a playbook video when inevitably one of the chapters within it is going to be completely irrelevant in about a month. So I apologize for postponing that, but it makes way more sense in my mind to wait to make it until the new system arrives so that that build and that video specifically has a little bit more longevity in terms of relevance. So that's everything about build crafting evolved. This video was kind of rushed a little bit. A lot of it wasn't even scripted, you could probably tell. So there might be some stuff that I missed. If you have any questions about literally anything, drop them in the comments below. I love giving my thoughts on this type of stuff, and I want you to be as informed as possible and as comfortable as possible with your build security moving into Lightfall. So any comments, drop them down below. Like the video if you enjoyed the watch. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.